Racism. For you who have come to understand the truth concerning who you really are, I want to talk to you about the worldwide concern regarding racism. I would have you know that this talk of racism arises only out of the ego drive of those people who have felt themselves despised and rejected because of their racial differences. These feelings are rooted so deeply in the self that no matter how circumstances may change for them, and they may be able to progress in life, even becoming characters of extreme importance on the world stage of life, there always remains the feeling of inadequacy and resentment against the people who first made them feel inferior. It should be understood that such feelings of inferiority are not unique to black races. These feelings of extreme lowliness are experienced by the majority of people subjected to the caste system in India, class distinctions in the European culture, and in those countries where differences are made into mountains of separation of one person from another. These painful and undermining feelings of lesser status are experienced even by the so-called exalted personages who are never quite comfortable in their positions of authority. This feeling of inadequacy and unworthiness is endemic to the human race as a whole, no matter what the position or race or education of an individual may be. The feeling of worthlessness arises to a large extent from the deep awareness of the psyche that ego behavior is contrary to the highest principles of human existence. When this natural, inbuilt drive of unworthiness is reinforced by proximity with other apparently more prestigious or successful people, then this natural feeling of inadequacy takes on agonizing overtones. The only means of overcoming the ethnic painful feelings of rejection, even when highly successful, is to reach the clear realization that if there had not been the kind of ethnic upheavals, removals, arrival of strangers and aliens with their different languages, cultures, educational processes, and their subjection of your natural states and modes of living, the various races would not now be occupying the positions of responsibility and worldly status as some have achieved at this moment. Therefore, the only healing and life-renewing course of action is to meditate, ponder, reflect, and ask for divine light on the subject until you can, in all honesty, say, Lord, I am sincerely glad and happy that all those terrible things took place. Because of them, I am where I am today. Because of them, I have been given an opportunity to test and experience the extent of my endurance, intellect, emotions, talents. I can measure myself against the achievement of other races and perhaps continue to learn how to rise still further from my beginnings. I thank you for the strength and inspiration to show my basic equality with everyone else. I send out my thoughts of love and gratitude to those who laid the foundation for my present good all those many years ago. You can also reflect upon the fact that it was inevitable, according to the laws of existence, that those who were connected with slave trading and other tragic events, or were responsible for handing out pain and torture to other human beings, should return in a future life as a member of the downtrodden races and suffer grievously. When born into black races, it is more than likely these people were vociferous in their demands for equality and humane treatment for black people. Such a person may even have been your great-grandfather or father, and you may be wondering why life has created the poor souls so badly. Alternatively, the white people who manacled the black people and kept them in dungeons at this time may still be creating mayhem for other people by occupying the stratum of society of all races, which are rebelling vociferously against the past. It may well be a past which they themselves had helped to bring into being. It is a fact that people are reincarnated into different strata of society in different races to enable the soul to learn some meaningful lesson as it journeys upward towards Christ consciousness. Bear in mind the fundamental principle of existence. You yourselves create your tomorrows. You bring into being also whatever you need for your upliftment by reaching out for it. Whether you are aware of it or not, As you reach out for an improvement in your life conditions, you are spontaneously reaching into higher levels of spiritual consciousness. As I have already told you, the divine will is to release creation from stress, and therefore, those lessons needed to take you upward towards divine consciousness will come into your experience. Therefore, forgive, for you have no true knowledge of the journey of your soul through many centuries of earthly existence. You have no knowledge of what you yourself did in life's gone past. Forgive the present, forgive the past, and accept that much good has come out of it. Learn to bless and love those whom you thought injured you or your ancestors. And you who presently occupy skins which carry the power of privilege, consider other races and their problems, and reflect upon the fact that you may, in a future life, occupy an underprivileged body and come to know firsthand what it is like to be born with a sense of being a second-class citizen. Reflect also on your past lives. Ponder what you may or may not have done to bring about your present situation. The truth about racism is this. Every single entity under the sun has descended from divine consciousness in one way or another. At the very inmost roots of their being, everyone is united in oneness. Therefore, where do the differences lie? They arise out of the development of species, genetics, conditioning, traditional teachings, customs, and educational and family habits of relating with others, and the differences in thought patterns. It is not the color which divides you. A child of every race and color, because of its innocence and spontaneity of self-expression, will find acceptance in the hearts of most adults. It is the consciousness which divides you, and which is felt on every level of your being. For you are all, despite your materialized bodies, consciousness forms expressing consciousness patterns, and consciousness forms receiving consciousness patterns from others. The consciousness of each individual is their reality, not their skin or appearance, and it is the consciousness of people which either attracts or repulses others. You can rest assured that you will only overcome your sense of racial differences when your mental, emotional thought patterns are in sympathy, and when your values by which you choose to live throughout your day are the same. Until that time comes, it is useless for people to be angry with one another for experiencing racial differences. They are endemic to the human condition. If you want to be accepted completely into another race, you will have to change your values, your perceptions, your ideas, modes of living, and of relating to others to match everyone else's in that race. Racial differences then die a natural death. If you are not prepared to take on the consciousness of the race you wish to join, then acknowledge, accept, and respect with love the differences in consciousness. No one has a right to demand you should ignore the differences. Most importantly of all, choose the highest standards on offer in the world, work to embrace and use them, and then all skin colors will take on a new and inner beauty which none will be able to resist. All people will then willingly bond in perfect harmony. Physical appearances of every color will also change and take on new inner beauty. When these letters have been distributed throughout the world and groups of people bond together to live within the spiritual laws of existence, such groups will find they are living harmoniously protected lives, although there may be mayhem going on around them. Everywhere, those who bond together to learn how to enter and live within the wholeness of being which I termed the kingdom of heaven 2,000 years ago, will discover that their circumstances are surely changing. I urge you to meet together on a Sunday to speak of your many blessings, give sincere, wholehearted thanks, and raise your minds in praise to that which has given you being. Meditate together to draw divine consciousness through your minds into world consciousness, that the nature of the divine may, more and more, imbue the nature of the world psyche with its own transcendent love. Your groups will emit spiritual consciousness energies which will influence mind energies around you. I would have you remember that the world was not in such a dangerous predicament when the churches worldwide met on Sundays to worship God. Those days are now past. You will not worship God. You will build up a strong awareness of divine consciousness universally present. Its universality and scope of creativity will be ever more firmly entrenched in your minds by means of sincere praise. In the silence and stillness, you will all reach out to divine consciousness and invite it lovingly to take possession of your mind and heart. Thus, little by little, will you become unified, and the divine consciousness will, more and more, take possession of the world, as was its earliest intention. As I said in this letter, I am with you always, radiating the truth of being and consciousness. The more you read these letters, the more you will become aware of my presence and my love, and through this contact my loving purposes for you will be fulfilled. Only you will be able to break the contact. I am radiating love no matter how you feel. I leave you with my love and longing for your speedy journey into spiritual light.